Hey comic book fans, my nerdy friends, my geeky compadres, what's going on? Welcome to another Tradin with RWC. This time, we're going to delve into Gotham by Gaslight. Alright, so first things first, this is split up into two kind of separate stories, one following directly after the other. But the first thing, you open up the page and there's this little note here. If you see from here, you can kind of get an idea. Of course, From Hell is what Jack the Ripper addressed his notes to the police in Europe. He addressed it to them from hell. So you kind of get the idea about what this first story is going to be about. Bruce Wayne is in Vienna in 1889 at the time of the Jack the Ripper killings. From there, he talks to Dr. Freud and is like learning from him, and decides that it's time to go back to Gotham, go back home. He goes back home, and with him come more troubles. Seemingly, Jack the Ripper comes across the Atlantic and begins to kill people the way he did in London. Gordon and who at the time was just a police officer, if I believe I'm correct, and Tolliver, who is the commissioner, are working on the case, and they come to the conclusion that Bruce Wayne is the killer, and imprison him. And Bruce does his Bruce thing and gets out of it, finds the killer, and that killer is taken care of. I won't spoil who it is, but it was pretty crazy. This story was awesome. This first story, the artwork done by Mike Mignola, just awesome. If you like the Hellboy artwork, the stuff that he's done, you would like this for sure. Let me see if I can find a good picture. I love this part. This right here. That's kind of their stab at Joker, but back in the 1800s. It's pretty cool. I like that a lot. There's Batman in the 1800s. Pretty sweet. Really enjoyed that. The stories here are both written by Brian Augustin. But the second story is drawn by Eduardo Barreto, which he does a great job as well. I just like Mike Mignola's artwork better, but here's the second story. The second story deals with Gordon becomes commissioner, Tolliver becomes mayor of the city, and Tolliver decides to put on this big kind of fair to celebrate Gotham and moving into the future and all this. And along comes, I believe he called himself the Master, but I think everybody else started calling him the Maniac. This guy right here. His last name is Leroy. And he pretty much tells Tolliver to give the city over to him, or else he's gonna burn the city down if he continues with this this fair idea. Tolliver says, nope, it's going on. And Leroy starts his plan of burning down Gotham. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne is kind of just living out Bruce Wayne's life. He has I think it's fiance. Her name's Julie. I can't remember if they're engaged or if they're just in a relationship. Either way, Bruce Wayne's like in a relationship with her. She of course got saved by Batman once, and now she's kind of obsessed with Batman. But Bruce has kind of put Batman aside to live Bruce's life. Is just like there's this part in the beginning where they're at him and I don't know who he's with. One second. Sorry. I don't remember who it is, but I showed you this picture of the fight. They're at a fight and betting on like bare knuckle boxers, and Bruce's companion thinks that it's fixed, and the man who's holding the fight says, "Oh, you think it's fixed? Why don't you come up and fight?" And Bruce comes up in his place and just beats the crap out of this guy, and they end up winning a whole bunch of money. It was pretty humorous. He's like, all the while they're like, "Isn't this what men of our means are supposed to do?" And you know, Bruce is kind of like over the whole Batman thing. However, this Leroy guy comes into play and has this plan to burn Gotham, and Julie is all about Batman and how he needs to be the savior of the city, and is really good. It's a really good story. I just like the art better by Mike Mignola, but this art, like, nothing to laugh at. It's super good. The story was really, really good too. The second story is actually called Master of the Future. But oh god, this is just super good. It's two stories, both amazing, really fun Elseworld type stories. Just fantastic. If you guys can find this book, I suggest it very, very highly. Super good and kind of a fun read. Not really all that centered on Batman, either of the stories, which is kind of a nice break for a Batman book. But really, really cool to have it set so far back in time. And then, of course, the Jack the Ripper part. Like, I've always been very interested in the Jack the Ripper cases, and like I've spent a ridiculous amount of time reading and looking into it. Like, not that I'm trying to solve it or anything like that, but like I've spent a lot of time just being interested in that, and to have this book involving that was really cool. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, pick this up and read it. I plan on rereading it many, many times, just because it was so awesome. Anyway, I guess that's it. Again, pick this up if you can. Enjoy it. It's fantastic. Have a good one, and I'll see you all later.